Steve Velocity here, and it's Saturday morning, and welcome once again to my garage makeover. So just want to real quick give you the start of the project and show you what the bench looks like right now. Okay, so this is the original bench that I had built, which was totally designed for me to be able to work on computers, and I built it in 2001. And I made it so high because I wanted to have storage in the bottom, and I had gotten these server racks that had 3/4 inch plywood, and so all I really cared about was being able to take computers and stand up at the bench because it was a lot easier to get to everything. And you know, that was my mindset back then. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a belt sander to it for right now and make it look better. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the wall shelf, sort of shelf pseudo cabinet, up here today. And as soon as I get to the next stage of the project, which would be, I think I'm going to go ahead and hang the back plywood. You see, I have really limited space, and I don't have anybody to help me lift this heavy cabinet up whenever I get done. And my wife and I together wouldn't be able to do it. So I figured that because of this small garage and the limited space and the weight of the cabinet, I'm just going to go ahead and build it in pieces and then put it up and do it from that way. So I don't think I'll be using dados for my cabinets. I'll just go ahead and just do some, I don't even know what they're called really. Basically just brackets for the shelves. And I'll show you as I go along what I'm doing. And okay, I'll get back to you in a minute. And good morning, YouTube. It's Sunday morning. Steve Velocity here. And I spent all day yesterday actually building this. And it was quite messy in here. And so I decided not to film as I was going. I mean, it was like super duper messy. It was raining, so I had to do pretty much most of my cuts in here, including like the full sheets of plywood. And I got a chance to really use this bench yesterday. I just dragged it in the middle, used the 3 lips, and being able to use all of my clamps to help me hold the piece was, you know, it was awesome. I couldn't have done it without the bench. So this particular build, since I didn't do any filming in between, I'll just try to do a quick synopsis. Originally, I was going to go ahead and mount this thing to the wall, and as I got to looking at it, I began to realize if I mount it to the wall, then I'm limiting myself in the back there to 4-foot pieces of plywood. And I thought, well, if I bring it forward onto the bench itself, then I can actually stick larger pieces like these. This is what's left over out of the 5 full sheets of plywood. This, and then that one sheet in the front right there. That's all that's left over, and all that's left over are the bottom slats. What I decided to do, I used nothing but the plywood pallets and all the materials except for the cubes on this build. And I decided to go, like I said yesterday in my intro, I decided to go ahead and do build it on top here because it's heavy enough to where it's going to be really difficult to lift up. And I didn't do any like data. I think they're called dadas. And the way I decided to piece this together isn't exactly like, you know, a real cabinet. So I went ahead and used all the slots, and in the middle I reinforced them. Oops. I reinforced them so that you can see real simple design. And so what we had is the back went up first. I drilled, basically I screwed it into that 2x4 in the back of the bench, and then I took the sides and then built this section up here and squarely attached it to the back piece. And I needed a little bit more material to screw in, just a little bit more material to screw in, so that's why you'll see in the very back of the cabinet I've got the long strip running around the back. So I don't know what to talk. I guess they're called skids on the very bottom. They're about 1 by 4.5, and I did both sides, and then I came in once the sides were secure, and I went ahead and cut out the shelves. And these shelves right here are full sheets reinforced in the middle so it doesn't bow, and in the very top, the way it was worked out is I actually had to cut 2 pieces, so which isn't bad. So let's see if I can give you a good view here. Now I really like the design, at least the height of the last bench. So a lot of the stuff that I need to store that I don't use a whole lot, I've got just enough room to put stuff up there, and I've got much more room here for a lot of my stuff. So this is pretty much going to be a storage area, and it's going to be a place for my computers and my LCDs, that kind of thing, primarily. And then, you know, as you can see, I got still some cleanup that I have to do in here, as far as like getting stuff over. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear off this shelf, and then I'm going to take all the stuff that I had to just temporarily store in that shelf, and it's going to come back over here, populate this. This shop is so small that I have to, you know, move things around in order to make it happen. Next project is going to be ripping that off the shelf. All the wood there. Now those are 2x6s, and I'll be able to use that wood. 2, 4, 6. I got 8 2x6s right there, and I'll be able to use that wood on my next bench. So anyway, it is a work in progress, but it's coming along pretty nice. I may come back in and put some oil on this with some linseed or some Danish oil, I don't know. And then of course I will finish it in the front, because I'm going to go ahead and use this material here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do some facing on there, just cosmetically. I'm never going to put doors on this thing, but I think the facing would reinforce the front, and because over time this plywood would probably sag if too much weight's put in there. So I reinforce the front and the back, and then it will be pretty much finished. But I like it. So as soon as I get it populated with all my stuff, I'll do one last picture, then I'll publish the video, and I'll see you after that's done. And I'm back. So I just wanted to give you a quick look. You can see things are fundamentally much different. Things are kind of still messy. There's going to be a lot of reorganization to do. Still have one more workbench to build, and then what I've really got to work on is my tool storage, something that's really efficient. Place for everything. But at this particular point, what I've done is I've opened up a whole lot of storage space than what I had before. And it may still look a little cluttered, I don't know, but it's fundamentally, I think what's happening with what I'm doing is I'm opening up a nice wide space to where it doesn't feel so claustrophobic in here. And I think that when I build my next workbench, I'm going to keep it even with this bench right here, so that, I mean, it may be a little small, but it's going to leave this nice and open, because I'll still do some computer work here and there. And this is all going to get reorganized, but you'll notice that I took the really hideously ugly shelves off the back wall. I'll end up doing something different over here. This file cabinet is going to end up over here off to the side, sort of out of view, because it's really ugly, but it holds a lot of my parts and hardware. Now these may be a little dated, and I don't think they really looked good as far as for shelving material, but it's really hard to get rid of them, because you just never know when there might be an application for them. So I think I'll keep them around. See, that right up there is my hardware shelf. This is just where all the stuff that I'm saving for future projects, that's going to go up there. That's probably where they're going to end up. And you got a place for all my computers. Then I've got a place for my Xboxes down there. And these are all my LCDs, all my computer parts, little things here and there. What I've done is I still have a pretty good open workspace here for my computers, and I can reach in very easily back in here to get anything I need. So definitely an improvement over what it was before. I even opened up a whole lot of space under here for different things. So I like it. So thank you very much for viewing. Like if you like, subscribe if you want to. I'll be doing more to the garage. It's going to be transformed here by I'd say by December. It's going to be looking a whole lot different. So Steve Velocity's out, and thanks for viewing. Have a great rest of the weekend.